Welcome to Zoe Stories. I became a gorgeous girl overnight ready to date. I never imagined a single night could erase everything I thought I knew about myself. I had always been invisible. Not in the dramatic, tragic sense, the kind that makes people look twice or sympathize, but in the quiet, almost painful way where you could disappear in a crowded room and no one would notice. I spent my days balancing college assignments and part-time shifts at a dull cafe, the monotony of routine pressing on me like an invisible weight. My wardrobe was a collection of bland t-shirts and jeans, my hair perpetually messy, my face pale and unremarkable. I didn't hate myself, but I certainly didn't like what I saw staring back from the mirror each morning. And yet, I had never imagined that my world could shift so drastically in a single night, until she appeared. Her name was Alina, though I didn't know much about her at first. She was stunning, confident in a way that made every movement feel like a performance. Golden hair cascading over her shoulders, sharp eyes that seemed to pierce straight through my carefully constructed walls, and a smile that was both kind and dangerous. I first met her at a mutual friend's small house gathering, a place I had been dragged to by my roommate, mainly to socialize and meet new people. Alina noticed me immediately. Maybe it was my nervous shuffling in the corner, maybe it was the way I avoided eye contact, or perhaps it was just her ability to find the invisible. She didn't smile at me at first. Instead, she studied me. My palms were clammy, my voice shaky, and I could feel my cheeks burn under her gaze. "You're quiet," she said, approaching me with a soft step that made my heart rate spike. "Yeah," I muttered, my voice embarrassingly thin. Quiet, shy, a little lost. Her eyes sparkled with curiosity, though there was something more, something dangerous beneath that smile. I wanted to recoil. I wanted to escape. And yet, I felt rooted to the spot, unable to tear my gaze away from her. "You know," she continued, circling me slowly, like a predator inspecting prey, "sometimes being lost is just the beginning of discovering who you really are." Her words were soft, almost hypnotic. I didn't understand why, but they made me uneasy in a way that felt electric. The first hint of what was to come arrived like a whisper, subtle and sly. Alina had a challenge for me. It started innocuously, a dare. She claimed it would be fun, an experiment of sorts, a social exercise to break out of my comfort zone. "I want to see you different," she said, a mischievous smile tugging at her lips. "Not the boy I see now. I want to see someone else. Someone prettier." I blinked. "Prettier? What do you mean?" "You'll see," she replied, her tone leaving no room for argument. "Tonight, I want you to dress like a girl." The words hit me like a splash of ice water. My brain screamed, "This is insane. I can't do that. People will see me. It's humiliating." And yet another part of me, a darker, curious part, couldn't stop thinking about it. I didn't understand why. Alina's eyes searched mine, reading every flicker of doubt, every spike of curiosity. "You can run," she said softly. "But I think you're curious, aren't you? Deep down you want to see." I agreed. Not because I wanted to, but because I felt an inexplicable pull toward her, a dangerous curiosity that drowned out my better judgment. I followed her into her room, a space I hadn't realized existed in her apartment, filled with mirrors, clothes, and accessories that gleamed under soft lighting. "This is your transformation chamber," she said, gesturing around her. "Everything you need is here. And you will obey my instructions." My stomach twisted. Obey her? That was humiliating in itself. Yet her calm authority was intoxicating, and something deep inside me wanted to comply, even if it terrified me. She handed me a pile of clothes. Silk, lace, soft fabrics I had only seen on women in magazines. Dresses that shimmered under the light, skirts that begged to sway with every step, delicate undergarments I didn't even know how to put on. "Start with this," she said, holding out a pale pink dress. "I want you in this first. Slowly. Don't rush." I hesitated. My fingers trembled as I touched the fabric. It was soft, almost alive under my hands, and I felt a strange thrill. Embarrassment and fear battled with curiosity and something else, something dangerous and forbidden that I didn't want to name. "You're shaking," Alina said, a teasing lilt in her voice. "Good. That means you're feeling it. The first step is always the hardest." She guided me patiently, yet firmly. Step by step, I changed. My hair was brushed and styled into gentle waves. Makeup touched my face for the first time in my life. Foundation, blush, eyeshadow, mascara. Every stroke of the brush, every swipe of color was alien and intimate, and I felt myself melting under her careful, precise hands. When she finally stepped back, I looked into the mirror. I barely recognized the reflection. Soft cheeks, long lashes, delicate lips slightly parted in shock and awe. You look," I couldn't find words. "Beautiful," she whispered, leaning closer. "Don't be afraid to enjoy it. To see yourself like this." The thrill was intoxicating. My face flushed deeper, a mixture of shame and desire. I didn't want to admit it, but a tiny voice in my mind whispered, "I look pretty, really pretty." And just like that, the first step of my transformation was complete. My world had already begun to tilt, unsteady and dangerous, and I hadn't even stepped outside yet. Alina's control over me was total. Every movement, every glance, every tiny act was guided. When I walked, she corrected my posture. When I spoke, she adjusted my tone. I stumbled over my own voice at first, high-pitched and uncertain, but under her gaze, it began to sound convincing. "You're not a boy tonight," she murmured. "You're a work of art. And the world will see you that way." Even as fear clutched my chest, a strange warmth spread through me. I couldn't stop staring at myself in the mirror, tracing the curves and softness that had never been mine before. My mind was a storm of emotions: embarrassment, humiliation, excitement, and something darker, something I couldn't yet name. The chapter ended as I heard the faint noise of people moving downstairs in her apartment building. The night outside was alive, and soon, I would have to face it. Alina smiled, brushing a stray lock of hair from my face. "Ready to show the world who you are?" I swallowed hard, heart racing. My reflection stared back at me, pretty, feminine, trembling. And I realized I had no idea who I was anymore. As I stepped toward the door, my hands shaking, I caught my own reflection in the hallway mirror. The girl in the glass was beautiful, vulnerable, and utterly unrecognizable. I wanted to scream. I wanted to run. And yet, a part of me whispered, "I want this. I want to see where it goes." Each step I took in her heels felt like a betrayal, and yet, I couldn't stop myself from craving it. The first steps outside her apartment felt unreal. My heels clicked against the polished floor like a warning, each tap reverberating in my chest. I had never felt so conspicuous in my life, so exposed, so vulnerable. My legs shook, my fingers clutched at the hem of the pale pink dress that Alina had so carefully chosen. The world beyond her door suddenly seemed enormous, overwhelming, and yet thrilling. Alina walked beside me, effortless in her own designer heels, her gaze sharp and commanding. She didn't hold my hand, didn't offer comfort. She simply guided me with subtle gestures, a tilt of her head, a look, a hand lightly brushing my back. Her control was absolute, and I hated myself for craving it. "Walk slower," she whispered, correcting the tilt of my hips. "Confidence isn't just in your face. It's in your body." I obeyed. My steps became more measured, more deliberate. Every wobble, every stumble, felt like it magnified my humiliation. Strangers on the street glanced at me, some with curiosity, others with approval. I caught the reflection of myself in shop windows, and each time my heart stuttered. Who was this girl staring back at me? How could she belong to me, yet feel so alien? The first public test was brutal. Alina insisted we visit a nearby cafe. Inside, the air was warm and filled with the aroma of coffee and pastries. I felt eyes on me immediately. I wanted to duck under the table, hide somewhere, anywhere. But Alina guided me to a seat, ignoring the stares, the whispers, the subtle smirks. "Order something," she instructed softly. I opened my mouth, trying to summon a voice that sounded feminine. It trembled at first, high and unsure, drawing unwanted attention. People glanced over, some smiling politely, others chuckling quietly. My cheeks burned like fire. Not like that, Alina corrected, leaning close.
Relax. Breathe.
Let your voice float. Let it be soft, but confident. Her instructions were gentle but firm, impossible to refuse. With each word, each adjustment, I felt my old self, my shy, boyish identity eroding. Step by step, the girl in me grew stronger, while the boy I had always been shrank into nothing more than a memory. The next stage of the transformation was even more intimate. Makeup in public. Alina pulled me into a small boutique, claiming it was essential practice. Surrounded by mirrors, perfumes, and rows of cosmetics, she began again, guiding my hands as I applied eyeliner, mascara, and lip gloss under her watchful eye. "You're doing well," she murmured, her breath warm against my ear. "Look at yourself. You're beautiful. Don't be afraid of it." I wanted to argue, to deny it, but my lips trembled with the truth. I was beautiful. Soft, delicate, undeniably feminine. The realization both thrilled and terrified me. Every brushstroke, every flick of color felt like another piece of my old identity being erased. Alina's control didn't stop at appearances. She tested me in every possible way, my speech, my posture, my gestures. She made me practice walking in heels for hours, correcting every wobble, every hesitant step. She forced me to hold my head high, shoulders back, spine straight, even when my body screamed in protest. "Confidence isn't given," she said, smiling cruelly. "It's forced. And I will force you until you can't remember the boy you once were." Her words were sharp, but there was a strange sweetness beneath them, a seduction in the way she spoke, a promise that if I obeyed, I would be irresistible, not just to her, but to the world. The emotional layers began to twist inside me. Embarrassment, humiliation, curiosity, and a strange sense of excitement mingled into a dizzying storm. I felt betrayed by my own body, yet I was discovering pleasures I had never known. Strangers complimented my appearance, calling me pretty, beautiful, gorgeous. Each word felt like a double-edged sword, cutting through the boy I had been and building the girl I was becoming. I caught a familiar voice in my mind, whispering warnings. "This isn't you. You're just pretending. You'll regret it." But alongside that voice was another, softer and more insistent. "You like this. You crave it. You want it." The day escalated when Alina led me to a small beauty contest she had arranged, an informal gathering of friends where I was expected to appear as her pretty assistant. My heart pounded in my chest. I wanted to flee, to disappear into the shadows, but she held my hand lightly, guiding me through the room like a queen and her protégé. The other participants and spectators gasped when I entered. Cameras flashed. Compliments flew. I could barely recognize the face reflected back from the lenses. Perfect makeup, flowing hair, a dress that clung to my curves. The applause was intoxicating, terrifying, and humiliating all at once. "See," Alina whispered. "This is who you are now. The world loves her. Don't fight it." My mind reeled. Each cheer, each compliment, each lingering gaze chipped away at my old identity. I wasn't just a boy playing a girl anymore. I was becoming her. By the end of the night, I was exhausted and trembling, both from the heels and the emotional intensity of the day. Alone in Alina's apartment, she finally released her grip, though her eyes still burned into mine, commanding, evaluating. "You did well today," she said softly, almost tenderly. "But this is only the beginning. You have so much more to learn to become." I sank onto the couch, my limbs heavy, my mind a whirlwind of shame, excitement, and confusion. For the first time, I wondered if I could ever go back. The boy I had been felt distant, a stranger in my own memory. As I gazed at my reflection in the full-length mirror, Alina's words echoed in my mind. "You're beautiful. You're mine to shape." I shivered, not knowing if it was fear or desire, or both. Every mirror I faced, Every compliment I received chipped away at the boy I once was, and I couldn't stop it. Days had passed since my first venture into the world as Alina's creation. Each morning, the routine became more demanding, more intense, more real. My closet, once filled with bland t-shirts and jeans, now overflowed with skirts, dresses, heels, and delicate lingerie. My drawers were stocked with makeup and beauty products I could barely name. And each day, Alina pushed me further, not with violence, but with a control so subtle, so precise, it became impossible to resist. "Look at yourself," she whispered one morning, standing behind me as I practiced walking across her apartment in sky-high heels. "Do you see her? The girl everyone will notice before the boy you used to be? She's beautiful. And she's you." I stared at my reflection, and the words stung. She wasn't wrong. I saw the soft curve of my cheekbones, the delicate sweep of my lashes, the shimmer of blush and gloss. My body felt strange, alive in a way it never had before. I tried to reject it, tried to hold on to my old identity, but every glance in the mirror, every compliment from Alina, every subtle correction chipped away at my resistance. The breaking point came that evening. Alina had arranged a small outing, just the two of us, but with a public audience. A trendy cafe, bustling streets, and people staring at me as I walked beside her. She had chosen a soft lavender dress that clung to my body, highlighting the curves I was only beginning to recognize. My heels clicked nervously against the pavement, and my hands trembled as she adjusted my hair. "You look perfect," she murmured, brushing a lock of hair from my face. "But remember, confidence is everything. Walk like you own the world." I swallowed, forcing a smile. Each compliment from strangers, beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, felt like both a dagger and a bomb. My old self recoiled, humiliated and vulnerable. And yet, a part of me quivered with delight, craving every approving glance. The ultimate test came unexpectedly. A familiar face appeared in the cafe. A boy from my college, someone who had known me before all this, walked past our table and froze. His eyes widened as recognition struck, followed by a hesitant smile. "Is that you?" he asked, voice tinged with disbelief. Panic surged through me. I wanted to hide under the table, to disappear into the floorboards. Alina, however, remained calm, her hand resting lightly on my back. "Yes," she said smoothly, eyes glinting with control. "It's her now. And she's more beautiful than ever." The encounter tore something inside me. The boy I used to be, the one who could walk through the world unnoticed, was gone. He had seen me, and he couldn't reconcile the girl before him with the shy, awkward boy he once knew. Humiliation mingled with a strange, intoxicating thrill. Alina's dominance deepened. Each day, she demanded more, longer outings, public attention, social interactions where I had to act fully as a girl. My voice, posture, gestures, even the way I thought and reacted, were molded under her watchful eye. She alternated between sweetness and cruelty, making me crave her approval while fearing her disapproval. "You're forgetting him," she said one night as I practiced in front of the mirror, tears streaming down my face. "The boy you were. And that's good. You're becoming her now." Her words cut through me. I wanted to resist, to scream that I wasn't ready, that I wasn't this girl, but inside, I realized the truth. I was becoming her. Piece by piece, my old identity slipped away, replaced by the persona Alina had crafted. The emotional toll was immense. I cried in private, sometimes in public, as the layers of my old self peeled away. Yet, every tear, every moment of vulnerability was exploited by Alina with a mix of gentle encouragement and quiet cruelty. She watched me struggle, watched me break, and whispered assurances that only deepened my submission. "You're beautiful when you cry," she said softly one night, brushing my damp hair from my face. "Vulnerable, delicate, human. And everyone will see that, not the boy you used to be." The climax of this chapter arrived when Alina introduced a new male presence, a charming, confident young man who immediately noticed me, the girl I had become. His compliments, playful teasing, and subtle flirtation ignited something unexpected inside me, a combination of fear, excitement, and forbidden curiosity. I realized, with a jolt, that the thrill I had felt under Alina's control extended beyond her. My body responded, my heart raced, my cheeks flushed. Alina observed silently, her smile sharp, satisfied. "You see," she whispered, "even he can't resist her. Even strangers, even your past, they will all see her before they see him. And soon, you'll forget he ever existed." By the end of the day, I was emotionally shattered. Alone in her apartment, the new male acquaintance gone, Alina's voice lingered in my mind. My reflection in the mirror no longer startled me. It fascinated me. I traced my cheekbones, my lips, my lashes. The girl staring back was undeniably beautiful, undeniably feminine. And yet a tiny, fragile voice whispered, "I am losing myself. I am forgetting who I was." Alina leaned close, her presence overwhelming. "You've come so far," she said softly. "But there's still more. More to learn, more to accept, more to surrender." As I sank onto the couch, trembling, I realized the truth. The boy I had been was slipping away. And for the first time, I wasn't sure if I wanted him back. In the mirror, I saw the girl I had become and the boy I had lost. I didn't know which one I wanted anymore. The days blurred into one another. I had become so accustomed to the routine, the control, and the constant reinforcement from Alina that I barely remembered the boy I once was. My mornings began with makeup tutorials, outfit selections, and posture training. My evenings ended with public outings where strangers admired me, called me beautiful, and treated me as if I had always belonged in this world. Yet inside, a storm raged. I felt the remnants of my old self whispering, faint and desperate. I wanted to reclaim him, to run, to escape. But every glance in the mirror, every compliment, every thrill of attention reminded me of the girl I had become, the girl everyone adored, the girl Alina had carefully shaped. Alina sensed my hesitation. She didn't force me at first. Instead, she used subtler tactics. "You're not just beautiful," she said one evening, adjusting my hair as I practiced walking in heels across her apartment. "You're magnetic. People will follow you, admire you, desire you. Don't fight it." I wanted to argue. I wanted to say, "I'm still me. I'm still the boy you first met." But my voice trembled, betraying the truth I wasn't ready to admit. A part of me craved her words, her control, the way I felt when the world saw me as her. The pivotal moment came unexpectedly. Alina had arranged a small gathering, friends from her social circle, all aware of my transformation. The moment I entered, eyes turned, whispers followed, and my body reacted instantly. The thrill, the fear, the humiliation, it all collided inside me. A young man approached me, smiling, flirting casually. His gaze was appreciative, admiring, lingering. My cheeks flushed as my heart raced. I caught Alina watching, a subtle smirk on her lips. "See," she whispered. "Even him. Everyone will see her first." The weight of her words pressed down on me. I wanted to flee, to escape this world that was no longer mine. And yet, my body responded. My lips curved into a hesitant smile. My voice, soft and melodic, replied to his teasing. I felt a thrill at the attention, a dangerous excitement I had never known. Alina leaned close, her presence suffocating yet intoxicating. "You've come so far," she murmured. "You can try to fight it, try to run, but this is who you are now. The girl is stronger than the boy ever was." Her words struck me like lightning. I remembered the boy I had been, shy, invisible, uncertain, and I realized he was gone. Not completely, but dimmed, buried under layers of makeup, fabric, and public admiration. I looked into the mirror again, at the girl I had become. Every detail was perfect. The shimmer of eyeshadow, the curve of my lips, the sway of my dress with each step. She was breathtaking. And for the first time, I wanted to belong to her. The final struggle was internal. Alone later that night, I traced my face in the mirror, tears streaming down my cheeks. Am I still me? I whispered. Or am I just her? The answer came slowly, painfully. I had lost the boy I was, yes. But I had gained something else. Confidence, beauty, power, attention. I was no longer invisible. And part of me wanted to stay in this body, this identity, this world. Alina entered silently, sitting beside me. She brushed a tear from my cheek. Whatever you choose, she said softly, know that you will never be ordinary again. You can go back, try to reclaim him, or you can embrace her fully. The world will not forgive half measures. Her words resonated in my chest. I understood finally that there was no turning back. My old self was a memory, a whisper, a shadow. The girl in the mirror was real. And I had to choose. I chose. I stood taller, adjusted my dress, and faced the mirror. The reflection was undeniably hers, soft, feminine, breathtaking. And yet I smiled. I felt strength, confidence, a strange exhilaration that I had never felt as the boy I once was. Alina's smile widened, approving. You see, she whispered, you belong here. You're beautiful. You're powerful. You're hers and you're yours. The tension inside me dissolved into a strange serenity. The struggle, the fear, the humiliation, it all melted into acceptance. I was her now,
Fully.
The final scene was bittersweet. I walked outside into the world, heels clicking, dress flowing, makeup perfect. Strangers noticed me, complimented me, admired me. My old life, my old identity, felt distant, like a dream I could barely remember. And yet, I didn't feel loss. I felt exhilaration. I felt alive. I had become a gorgeous girl overnight, ready to face the world, ready to embrace every glance, every compliment, every new experience. I was hers, yes, but I was also mine. As I stepped into the night, I caught my reflection in a shop window. The girl staring back smiled, confident and radiant. And in that smile, I realized the transformation was complete. There was no turning back. And for the first time in my life, I felt truly, undeniably free. I couldn't look away, even though the girl staring back wasn't me, or was she? The next morning, I woke up in Alina's apartment feeling an odd combination of exhaustion and exhilaration. My body ached from the constant practice in heels and the emotional intensity of the past days, but my mind was restless. I had become someone else, someone undeniably beautiful, undeniably feminine, and yet, a part of me still trembled with uncertainty. Alina had left early, promising to return later with a special lesson. That left me alone with my reflection in her massive, full-length mirror. I hesitated at first, almost afraid to look. But the curiosity, the subtle thrill, pulled me forward. I stood in front of the mirror, adjusting the pale pink dress I had worn yesterday. The fabric clung softly to my curves, highlighting the subtle shape my body had taken under Alina's guidance. My hands trembled as I reached up to touch my face, smooth, softened with makeup, lashes long and curled, lips glistening. The reflection stared back at me, and I felt a shiver run through my spine.
Who is she?
I whispered to myself, my voice delicate, high-pitched, and unfamiliar. Is this me, or someone else? I began experimenting with expressions, twisting my mouth, tilting my head, trying to find the girl Alina had created. A soft smile, a coy glance, a hesitant pout. I practiced them all. The more I practiced, the more the reflection began to feel real, almost familiar. My old self, the shy, invisible boy, seemed distant now, like a fading dream. A sudden knock startled me. Alina stepped in, her presence immediately commanding. Practicing? She asked softly, a smile playing on her lips.
Good.
Mirrors are your best friend. They'll teach you everything I cannot. I turned, cheeks flushing. I don't know if I can do this, I admitted. Her eyes softened slightly, but her tone remained firm. Yes, you can. You are becoming someone unforgettable. Don't fight it. She guided me through a series of exercises in posture, gestures, and expressions. Every movement had to be graceful, every step calculated. My hips swayed differently now, my hands floated delicately when I walked, and my voice, oh, my voice, was melodic, soft, convincing. I stumbled occasionally, my heels wobbling under me, my hands brushing against my dress in nervous frustration. Alina didn't scold me harshly. She corrected me gently, guiding my movements with a subtle touch. Each correction made me feel exposed, vulnerable, and strangely exhilarated. "You're improving," she murmured, adjusting my hair. "Look at yourself. You're breathtaking. You have no idea how powerful you are."
I didn't respond.
My eyes were glued to the mirror. The girl reflected back at me was undeniably pretty, soft, feminine, confident, and yet she felt unreal. Alina left me alone briefly, claiming she had errands to run. That's when the real test began. I couldn't stop looking at myself, tracing the curves of my face, the softness of my cheeks, the shimmer of gloss on my lips. Every detail fascinated me, and I found myself unconsciously posing, tilting my head, practicing smiles I had only seen in magazines. I look beautiful, I thought, and my stomach fluttered. I look like her, like a girl. The thought made me shiver. Shame mixed with thrill, embarrassment collided with desire. I caught myself playing with the hem of my dress, adjusting it, smoothing it down as if trying to mold myself into perfection. Hours passed in a blur. I lost track of time as I continued experimenting in front of mirrors placed throughout Alina's apartment. Every reflection reinforced the same truth. The boy I had been was gone. The girl I had become was real. And the more I looked at her, the more I wanted to belong to her. The real shock came when I ventured outside later that day. Alina returned, dressed in her usual confident elegance, and guided me to a quiet street lined with shop windows. "Look at yourself," she said, standing behind me. "Notice how others see you. Notice the girl you are." I hesitated, then glanced at my reflection in the glass of a nearby boutique. The passing pedestrians' eyes lingered on me. I felt a strange heat rise in my chest, a mixture of pride, fear, and desire. I realized then that I craved their attention, even if it embarrassed me, even if it humiliated me. "You like it," Alina said softly, reading my expression. "You want to be seen. You're learning to enjoy it, aren't you?" I wanted to deny it, to insist I didn't, but my lips curved slightly in acknowledgement. I was beginning to understand the dangerous thrill of being desired, admired, even envied. That evening, alone again, I faced the mirror one final time for the day. Alina had been right. The mirrors taught me more than words ever could. I practiced small gestures, expressions, and movements until they felt instinctive. Each glance, each pose, reinforced the girl I had become. And yet, deep down, a whisper lingered.
Who am I really?
Am I still me? Or am I only her now? The question had no easy answer. The girl in the reflection was real. My old self was fading, distant, almost mythic. And part of me, the part that once would have been terrified of attention, now thrilled at it. A notification on Alina's phone drew me out of the trance. A message from an old classmate appeared on the screen. "Hey, is that you in that photo?" Panic surged through me. My heart raced. Had I been recognized? Was my secret already exposed? Alina appeared beside me silently, placing a hand on my shoulder. "They'll see you," she whispered. "But don't be afraid. You're beautiful. You're unstoppable. Let them see her." And for the first time, I didn't fight. I didn't hide. I embraced the reflection, the identity, the power, and felt a strange, thrilling liberation. As I gazed into the mirror one last time before bed, I realized the truth. I was no longer just a boy pretending. The girl staring back at me was real.
And I
wanted to be her. Everyone was staring, and I wanted them to. Alina's idea of my next lesson was terrifying and thrilling all at once, a full public outing in the busiest mall in the city. My stomach churned as we approached the entrance. The glass doors reflected my image before I even stepped inside. The girl I had become, perfectly made up, dressed in a soft lavender dress that hugged my curves and heels that made each step feel precarious. Alina didn't take my hand.
She didn't need to.
Her confidence guided me like a magnet, drawing me into the crowd as if I belonged there. "You're ready," she whispered. "Remember everything we practiced. Walk like you own this place." I swallowed, my throat tight. The crowd was thick, voices overlapping, and eyes everywhere. Every glance felt like a spotlight on me. Every whisper felt like a judgment. I had never felt so exposed, and yet there was a thrill I couldn't deny. The first few steps were awkward. My heels clicked unevenly on the shiny tiles, my dress shifted uncomfortably, and my hands clenched at my sides. Alina's eyes caught mine in a passing reflection, silently correcting me. "Relax," she said softly. "Confidence isn't given, it's stolen.
Take it.
Claim it." I took a deep breath, focusing on my posture, tilting my chin slightly, letting my hips sway naturally. Slowly, I began to walk more gracefully, and something inside me shifted. The stairs didn't terrify me anymore. They exhilarated me. Strangers turned their heads, some smiling, some whispering. I felt heat rise in my cheeks, but a small part of me craved their attention. It was intoxicating. Alina guided me through a series of tasks designed to test my public persona. I had to order coffee, ask for directions, and even approach strangers for small favors, all while maintaining perfect composure, feminine speech, and graceful movements. Every interaction was a tiny battle, humiliation and thrill mixing into a dizzying cocktail. A barista complimented my dress, calling me beautiful. My heart skipped. I wanted to hide, to deny it, but the words thrilled me. For the first time, someone outside of Alina's control was affirming the girl I had become. "You see?" Alina whispered, her voice soft but commanding. "Even strangers notice her. Even the world sees her before they see him." The real test came in front of a large mirror wall in the mall's central atrium. Alina made me stop and face it fully, my reflection multiplied in dozens of angles. I froze. The girl staring back was undeniable. Perfect makeup, flowing hair, soft but confident posture. My eyes widened and my lips trembled. "Touch your face," Alina instructed. "Look at every detail. This is who you are now. Don't fight it." I hesitated, then slowly traced my cheeks, lips, and jawline. I saw the curve of my eyelashes, the smoothness of my skin, the subtle blush on my cheeks. My breath hitched. A strange thrill coursed through me, a mixture of embarrassment, arousal, and disbelief. Is this really me? I wondered. Am I really her? Alina's hand rested lightly on my shoulder. "Yes," she said softly. "She is real. And you're learning to love her, even if you don't know it yet." Then came the subtle flirtation from strangers. Compliments, lingering glances, even the faintest whispers of admiration. I felt my heart race, my face flush, my body respond in ways I couldn't control. The mall had become a stage, and I was performing flawlessly, whether I wanted to or not. At a kiosk, a young man smiled at me and said, "Hey, I really like your dress. You look amazing." My knees nearly buckled. I wanted to retreat, to tell him he was mistaken, but a tiny, forbidden part of me thrilled at the attention. Alina's eyes gleamed with satisfaction.
"See?
Even him, even strangers, they can't resist her." The culmination of the outing was a sudden, unscheduled test. Alina left me alone for a few minutes in the food court, claiming she had a phone call. My chest tightened. Panic and thrill battled inside me. I had to walk, order food, and navigate the crowd entirely on my own. Every pair of eyes felt like a judgment. Every whisper felt like exposure. And yet, with each step, I realized something terrifying and exhilarating. I could do this. I was doing this. The girl I had become was strong, graceful, confident, even in moments of fear. When Alina returned, her eyes gleamed with approval. "Perfect," she said. "You handled it exactly how I wanted. You're becoming unstoppable." I slumped slightly against the bench, exhausted and trembling. The humiliation, excitement, and fear had drained me, yet a small, impossible smile tugged at my lips. For the first time, I realized I was beginning to crave public attention, not just tolerate it. Later, in the quiet of Alina's apartment, I collapsed in front of the mirror again. Tears streamed down my cheeks, not of sadness, but of raw emotional overwhelm. I traced my reflection, finally allowing myself to acknowledge it fully. The girl in the mirror was real, beautiful, desirable, powerful.
And
I wanted to belong to her. A message popped up on Alina's phone. I saw her today. I think I know who she is. My heart raced. Someone from my past might have recognized me. Exposure loomed. And yet, a strange thrill coursed through me. I was alive, fully visible, fully feminine, and there was no turning back. I was learning to love and hate myself at the same time. Alina's next lesson was a full-scale immersion, a professional beauty salon, buzzing with clients, stylists, and mirrors that reflected every movement. My stomach knotted as we approached the glass doors. Every step felt heavier, every glance from passers-by more suffocating. The heels I wore clicked sharply on the tiled floor, announcing my presence with every step. "This is your next stage," Alina whispered, a glint of amusement in her eyes. "Today, the world will see her, and you'll learn how to respond." I swallowed hard, my throat tight, but the thrill of exposure and Alina's quiet dominance pushed me forward. Inside, the salon was warm, fragrant with lotions and perfumes. Stylists bustled about, chatting, laughing, moving with practiced grace. Mirrors lined every wall, reflecting dozens of faces, dozens of movements. I froze, overwhelmed. Alina's hand lightly rested on my back. "Relax," she murmured. "Own the space. You're hers." I nodded, barely noticing the stylist approaching, a tall woman with sharp eyes and an easy smile.
Hi, sweetie.
"I hear we're doing a makeover today?" she asked, her voice warm but curious. "Yes," Alina said, her tone firm. "She's new to this. I'll be helping." The stylist glanced at me, appraising. I felt a familiar flush rise to my cheeks. My fingers fiddled nervously with the hem of my dress, heels shifting under me. The makeover began. First, my hair, washed, dried, styled into flowing waves. Each stroke of the brush sent shivers down my spine. My reflection began to change gradually. Soft curls framed my face, highlighting the blush on my cheeks, the shine of my lips. I felt like I was dissolving into someone else, someone beautiful yet unfamiliar. Next came makeup. Foundation, blush, eyeshadow, mascara, and lipstick. Each brush against my skin felt intimate, personal. My pulse raced with embarrassment and anticipation. Alina watched silently, correcting my posture, guiding my expressions with subtle touches. "You're learning," she whispered. "See how the world responds to beauty. See how it changes everything." I stared at my reflection. The girl looking back was radiant. My lips were glossy, eyes bright, lashes long and dark. My cheeks glowed with soft blush, and my hair cascaded perfectly around my shoulders. The stylist moved to my nails next, painting them a delicate pink. I watched my hands transform, delicate and feminine. Each small detail reinforced the truth. The boy I had been was fading, replaced by this new persona. Alina's dominance was subtle but absolute. She guided every action, corrected every hesitation, and observed every expression. I felt exposed and controlled, yet the thrill of being watched, of being molded into perfection, sent shivers through me. A male client in the salon glanced at me, his eyes lingering a moment too long. My heart skipped. I felt heat rise to my cheeks, a mix of embarrassment and forbidden excitement. Alina noticed and whispered,
"See?
Even him. She commands attention without trying. You're learning her power." As the final touches were added, perfume, hairspray, a subtle shimmer on my collarbones, I felt almost unrecognizable. My body, my face, my voice, it all belonged to her now. I looked in the mirror, tracing my reflection with trembling fingers. "I look real," I whispered. The voice felt foreign, feminine, intoxicating. Alina smiled, approving. "You are real, and the world will see her before they see him." The real test came when Alina directed me to interact with other clients and stylists. I had to speak, smile, and move gracefully under scrutiny. Each interaction was a battle between my old self and the girl I had become. I stumbled at first, my voice faltering, my gestures unsure. But slowly, I began to adjust, gaining confidence with every compliment and approving glance. "You're beautiful," one stylist said warmly. "Absolutely stunning." My cheeks burned, but a small thrill danced through me. Alina's gaze, sharp yet approving, pushed me further. I realized something terrifying. I liked it. The attention, the admiration, it made me feel alive in ways I never had as a boy. By the end of the session, I was exhausted but exhilarated. Mirrors surrounded me on every side, reflecting a girl I barely recognized, yet wanted to embrace. Alina placed a hand on my shoulder, her eyes glinting with satisfaction. "You've done well today," she said softly. "But this is just the beginning. You're learning to accept her, to crave her. And soon, the world will notice." I sank into the chair, trembling, overwhelmed by emotion. Pride, embarrassment, excitement, and fear collided inside me. For the first time, I allowed myself to acknowledge the truth fully. The girl in the mirror was beautiful, powerful, and alive. And I wanted to be her. As I left the salon, a notification on Alina's phone drew my attention. Someone noticed her today, someone who knew him before. My pulse raced. Exposure loomed, the past threatened, and yet, the thrill of being seen, admired, and desired surged through me. I was alive, undeniably feminine, and there was no turning back. Why did a smile make my heart race? It had been a week since the salon session, and the lessons Alina had drilled into me were becoming second nature. I could walk in heels, maintain perfect posture, speak in a soft melodic tone, and even manage subtle flirtations without thinking. Yet, nothing had prepared me for the sensation that hit when I first noticed him, Ethan, a young man from a nearby coffee shop, who had caught my eye before I even realized it. I was practicing in front of the full-length mirror, smoothing my dress and curling a stray lock of hair, when Alina's voice interrupted me. "Time to meet someone new," she said, a knowing smile on her lips. I felt a thrill of anticipation and fear. Alina had arranged for me to meet Ethan under the guise of a casual encounter, but I knew the real test was emotional. Could I handle the attention? Could I maintain her control while navigating my own feelings? We approached the cafe, and there he was, leaning casually against the counter, glancing around with his usual easy charm. My heart lurched. I wasn't used to being looked at this way, with desire, curiosity, and admiration. The heat rose to my cheeks as I tried to calm my trembling hands. Alina's whisper was sharp, yet teasing.
"Go on. Talk to him."
"She is ready." I hesitated. My voice, now soft and feminine, felt foreign yet natural as I approached him. "Hi, I'm new around here," I said, smiling nervously. Ethan looked up, and his eyes widened slightly. "Oh, hey. I don't think I've seen you before. You're beautiful." The word hit me like a jolt. Beautiful. I had heard it before, from strangers, from Alina, but coming from him, it was different. My chest fluttered, a confusing mix of embarrassment and longing. Alina lingered nearby, silently observing, her presence a subtle mix of dominance and encouragement. I noticed her smirk as Ethan's attention remained fixed on me. We sat at a small table by the window. Every word, every laugh, every glance from Ethan sent shivers through me. I was learning to flirt without realizing it, to tilt my head, to laugh lightly, to let my fingers brush my hair subconsciously. It was intoxicating and terrifying. Why does this feel so right? I thought, my cheeks burning. I'm still me, aren't I? Or am I her now? Ethan leaned closer, his gaze warm. I'm glad we met. You have this energy. It's captivating. I felt a strange heat rise in my chest, my body responding in ways I didn't fully understand. I wanted to pull back, to hide my past self, but another part of me craved his attention, his admiration, the thrill of being desired. Alina's soft voice cut through my thoughts. Feel it. She is alive. She is here. Don't fight her. The internal battle was exhausting. Part of me longed for the comfort of anonymity, the boy I used to be, unseen and unnoticed. But another part, a part one didn't dare acknowledge until now, thrived on this. Thrived on being visible, being feminine, being admired. The conversation flowed naturally, but every compliment, every playful smile, every lingering gaze from Ethan sent waves of embarrassment and desire coursing through me. I felt exposed, vulnerable, and exhilarated all at once. At one point, Ethan reached out, lightly brushing a strand of hair from my face. My heart skipped a beat, and I caught myself trembling. Alina, standing discreetly behind me, gave a subtle nod of approval. You're learning, she whispered to me later, after Ethan left. Notice how you respond to him. The girl you are now feels things the boy never could. I sank into the couch, overwhelmed. Shame, excitement, and forbidden thrill warred inside me. I was terrified of losing myself entirely to this new identity, yet a part of me wanted to surrender completely. That night, alone in front of my mirror, I replayed every moment. Every smile, every glance, every brush of his hand lingered in my mind. I traced my lips with trembling fingers, wondering if this reaction, this desire, was truly mine, or if it was the girl Alina had created. Am I still me? I whispered into the mirror. Or am I just her now? The reflection smiled back, impossibly perfect and undeniably feminine. I felt a shiver of fear and exhilaration. I was learning to love her, the girl I had become, even if it meant losing him, the boy I once was. As I fell asleep, my phone buzzed. A new message from Ethan appeared. I can't stop thinking about you. Can we meet again? My heart raced. The temptation was real, the attention intoxicating, and the line between me and her blurred further. Could I resist? Or was I already lost to this new, gorgeous identity? He remembered me, and everything came rushing back. The week had been a whirlwind of lessons, public outings, and Alina's meticulous control. Each day, I became more comfortable in the skin of the girl I had become. Yet, nothing prepared me for what happened that Saturday afternoon. Alina insisted we take a walk through the local park, a seemingly harmless stroll, but I had a sinking feeling in my chest. The park was crowded, children playing, joggers running, families walking. I felt exposed, every movement amplified under the sun. Relax, Alina said, slipping her hand into mine. You're perfect. Own it. I tried. I tilted my chin, adjusted my shoulders, and walked gracefully in my soft pastel dress, the hem fluttering around my knees. My heels clicked on the pavement, drawing the occasional glance from passers-by. Then I saw him. A boy from my past, Jason, my childhood friend and occasional school rival, was jogging along the path. His face froze as our eyes met. For a moment I thought I imagined it. But no. Recognition flashed in his eyes, rapid and undeniable. Oh my God, he muttered under his breath. Panic surged through me. My hands trembled. My chest tightened. I wanted to run, to disappear, to retreat into anonymity. The girl I had become was still mine to control, but the past was creeping in, threatening to expose everything. Alina noticed immediately. Her grip on my hand tightened, but her eyes sparkled with delight. Don't run, she whispered, her tone almost cruel. Face it. She is yours now, and the world must see her. Jason stopped, staring openly. Wait, is that you? My heart pounded. The sound of his voice, familiar yet foreign, made my stomach twist. I could feel the tension building, not just in me, but in everyone around us. Strangers were starting to notice the commotion. Curious glances directed our way. Yes, I said softly, my voice higher, melodic and unmistakably feminine. It's me. Jason blinked, confusion and disbelief mixing on his face. No, you can't be. I mean, what happened? Alina stepped forward smoothly, her presence commanding the scene. He's become someone else, she said, her tone calm but sharp. And I think you should accept it. Jason hesitated, staring at me as if trying to reconcile the girl before him with the boy he once knew. I felt exposed in ways I had never imagined. The heels, the dress, the makeup, it was all undeniable. I was her. And now someone from my past had seen it. I felt a wave of humiliation crash over me. My cheeks burned. I wanted to shrink, to hide, to disappear. But beneath that shame, a strange thrill ran through me. The attention, even from someone who knew me before, made me feel alive. I realized, with a shiver, that the girl I had become could not be ignored. Jason stepped closer, still hesitant. I don't even know what to say. You look beautiful. I mean, I didn't expect. Alina's sharp glance cut him off. Enough. Compliment her properly, or remain silent. Jason swallowed hard, his eyes darting between Alina and me. You look amazing. Really wow. The words, so simple yet powerful, sent a wave of forbidden pleasure through me. My heart raced, my body tingled, and I realized I liked being seen this way, even by him. As we walked away, Alina leaned close. Do you feel that? The fear, the excitement, the humiliation? That is power. That is what being her means. I nodded, though my mind was a whirlwind. Shame, desire, and exhilaration collided inside me. The boy I once was felt distant, almost irrelevant. The girl I had become, vulnerable, beautiful, and undeniable, was real. That evening, alone in front of the mirror, I replayed the encounter. Every glance, every word, every moment of recognition surged through me. I touched my face gently, tracing my cheeks, lips, and eyes. I am her, I whispered, and no one can take her away from me. Yet the shadow of my past lingered, reminding me that exposure could come at any moment. The thrill of public attention and recognition was intoxicating, but the stakes were higher now. One slip, one careless moment, and everything could unravel. Cliffhanger. A notification popped up on my phone. It was a text from an unknown number. I saw you today. We need to talk privately. My heart raced. Who could it be? Jason? Someone else from my past? The thrill of danger mingled with excitement and fear. I realized that living as her, beautiful, feminine, and visible, was no longer just a choice. It was a test, and the consequences could change everything. Every eye in the room was on me, and I loved it and hated it. Alina had been unusually quiet all day, which only made my nerves worse. I had no idea what she had planned, but the tension in the air hinted at something monumental. When she finally spoke, her words sent a chill down my spine. You're going to a party tonight. All eyes will be on her. You will behave perfectly or face the consequences. A party. A crowded, social arena filled with people whose judgments I could not predict. My pulse quickened as fear, excitement, and anticipation collided inside me. I had walked through malls and cafes, faced admirers and strangers, but this was something different. Alina handed me a black, figure-hugging dress. This is your armor, she said, smoothing it over my curves. Tonight, she will shine. You will learn to command attention fully. I nodded, though my hands shook. The heels she handed me were impossibly high, forcing me to practice balance as my mind raced. She meticulously applied makeup, adjusted my hair, and instructed me on subtle gestures, the tilt of my head, the curve of my smile, the sway of my hips. By the time we were ready, I barely recognized myself in the mirror. The party was in a large, upscale loft. Music thumped through the space, conversations overlapped, and lights flickered across the room in rhythmic patterns. I felt exposed the moment we stepped inside, my heels clicking sharply on the polished floor. Every glance seemed magnified. Every whisper felt pointed at me. Alina's hand rested lightly on my back. Remember everything. You are her. Own it. I nodded, swallowing hard. My heart raced as we entered, and then it happened. Eyes turned toward me. Whispers started, subtle at first, then louder. She's stunning. Who is that? The first test was a direct confrontation with social pressure. A group of girls approached me, curious, examining every detail. The dress, the makeup, the heels. I offered polite smiles and soft responses, recalling Alina's lessons. I could feel their scrutiny, the subtle evaluation of my femininity, and it terrified and thrilled me simultaneously. A boy leaned in, his gaze lingering just a moment too long. "You're incredible," he murmured. My cheeks flushed and my pulse jumped. I could feel the tension building in my body, excitement, fear, arousal, and pride all at once. Alina's presence was a constant reminder. She controlled the situation, but I had to internalize it fully. Every glance, every compliment, every gesture became a test of my ability to embody the girl I had become. By mid-evening, I was fully immersed. I danced lightly to the music, interacted with strangers, and laughed softly at jokes, my voice melodic and feminine. My reflection in the mirrored walls caught my eye frequently. Each time, I felt a mix of pride and disbelief. This was me, or at least this was the me that Alina had created. Yet beneath the surface, my mind wrestled with identity. Was I still the boy I had been, hidden somewhere beneath the makeup, the dress, the heels? Or had I fully become her, vulnerable, beautiful, and undeniably feminine? The emotional climax of the night came when someone from my past, one of my classmates from school, saw me across the room. Recognition flashed in their eyes, and I froze. Panic surged. I had faced strangers, admirers, and even friends before, but this was someone who knew me as a boy. Alina stepped in smoothly, guiding me forward. "She is unstoppable," she whispered. "Show them. Own it." I forced myself to smile, walked toward them with grace, and met their gaze. Their shock was palpable. I could see them struggling to reconcile the girl before them with the boy they had known. And yet, for the first time, I didn't feel shame. I felt power. Control over my identity, even if it was new and fragile. By the end of the night, I was exhausted, trembling, yet exhilarated. Mirrors and reflective surfaces in the loft had captured me at every angle, reinforcing the transformation. I had danced, flirted, laughed, and survived scrutiny, all while maintaining the delicate balance of fear and thrill. Alina's hand rested on my shoulder as we left. "You've passed tonight," she said softly, but her eyes gleamed with promise and challenge. "The world will notice her, and soon you'll see just how much she can do." Later, alone in front of the mirror, I replayed every moment. Every glance, every touch, every whisper of admiration surged through me. Then my phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. "You were incredible tonight. I can't stop thinking about you.
Can we meet soon?"
My heart raced. The thrill, the attention, the danger, it was intoxicating. And deep inside, I realized I no longer wanted to run from it. I was becoming her, and I wasn't sure I wanted to go back. Alone with the mirror, I finally faced the truth I had been running from. After the party, Alina left me alone in her apartment with instructions. Think.
Feel.
Accept her. Or fight.
But don't deny it.
I collapsed onto the velvet couch, my legs trembling from the heels, my heart still racing from the public attention, the whispers and the stares. The adrenaline faded, leaving a raw, dizzying emptiness. Alone with my thoughts, I realized the real challenge wasn't walking, dancing, or flirting. It was facing myself. I moved to the full-length mirror and hesitated. The girl reflected back was flawless. Hair curled perfectly, makeup soft but striking, dress hugging every curve. Every inch screamed feminine confidence, power, and allure. And yet, beneath that perfection, I saw traces of the boy I had been. The nervous hands, the uncertainty in my eyes, the subtle hesitation in my posture. I sank to the floor, pulling my knees to my chest. Tears pricked my eyes. The emotional whirlwind of the past days, the transformation, the constant exposure, It all collided in one raw, overwhelming wave.
Who am I?
I whispered to the reflection. Am I still him, or only her now? The question had no easy answer. I traced my cheeks, soft from makeup, and felt the faint curve of my body, now undeniably feminine. Every touch was both intimate and alien. I shivered, caught between fear and exhilaration, shame and desire. Memories of my old life, friends, school, quiet moments of solitude, flashed through my mind. Yet the experiences as her were vivid, thrilling, intoxicating. Compliments, stolen glances, the feel of attention like electricity against my skin. I realized I craved it. Even now, alone, I felt a warmth bloom inside me, a dangerous, addictive thrill. Alina had warned me this would happen. The mirrors, the public outings, the lessons, they weren't just about appearance. They were about identity.
Control. Desire.
And I was succumbing, even against my own doubts. I experimented with gestures, expressions, even my voice. Laughing softly, tilting my head, brushing hair from my face, I noticed how natural it had begun to feel. The girl I had become responded instinctively, effortlessly. Am I losing him? I thought, panic rising. Or am I finally becoming her? A knock at the door startled me. Alina entered quietly, her eyes studying me. You're thinking too much, she said softly, almost soothingly. Stop doubting. She is alive. Feel her, not him. I shook my head. But what about me? The boy I was? Alina's expression softened, yet her tone was firm.
He's gone.
Or he's hidden now. What matters is her. Beautiful, desired, powerful. She's what the world will see. Her words sank into me, a chilling mixture of comfort and control. I realized she was right, he was fading. The boy I had been existed only in memory. The girl in the mirror, trembling, beautiful, feminine, was real. Hours passed in silence. I traced my reflection again and again, feeling the curves of my body, the softness of my face, the power of being seen. Every touch, every glance reinforced the truth I was starting to accept. I was hers now, fully transformed, fully visible. And yet, a whisper of fear lingered. Exposure was inevitable. Recognition could come at any moment. The thrill, the attention, the desire, all intoxicating, also carried danger. As I finally drifted toward sleep, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I know what you've become. We need to meet tonight.
My heart jumped.
Who could it be? Someone from my past? A stranger? Danger and excitement collided in my chest. Alone, vulnerable, and beautiful, I realized one thing clearly. The transformation was complete, but the real test, the ultimate confrontation with my past and my new identity, was about to begin. Seeing him here, in this world I now belonged to, shattered everything I thought I knew about myself. The message had been short, cryptic, and unnerving. I know what you've become. We need to meet tonight. My heart pounded as Alina's eyes glimmered knowingly. It's time, she whispered, her voice soft but commanding. Face it, she is ready. I followed her silently, nerves twisting in my stomach. The heels clicked sharply on the pavement, each step feeling heavier than the last. The night air was crisp, carrying the faint hum of distant city sounds. My reflection in shop windows reminded me of who I had become. Soft curls framing a flawless face, glowing skin, delicate features, the girl who could command attention with a single glance. And yet, beneath the surface, panic surged. Who was waiting? Friend? Enemy? Someone from my past who could unravel everything? The meeting point was a quiet cafe, nearly empty except for a lone figure waiting inside. My breath hitched as I recognized him. Jason. My childhood friend, the one who had known me before all of this transformation. His eyes widened as he saw me fully transformed, and a mixture of disbelief, shock, and curiosity flashed across his face. Is that really you?" he stammered. I nodded, voice soft and melodic, trembling slightly. "Yes, it's me." Alina's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, a subtle reminder of control. "He is hers now," she said softly, ensuring the dynamic was clear. Jason stepped back slightly, uncertainty flickering across his face. I don't even know what to say. You look amazing. Incredible." The compliment hit me with a mix of pleasure and humiliation. His admiration, coming from someone who had known me as a boy, was intoxicating and terrifying at the same time. I sat down, keeping my posture perfect, my voice soft yet confident. Every word, every gesture, every flick of hair felt like a performance, and yet it was no performance. I was her now. Jason's questions were cautious, probing. How did this happen? I mean, you look so different. So beautiful." Alina leaned forward slightly, her eyes locking on his. "This is who she is now. Accept it or leave." Jason hesitated, then nodded slowly, the weight of understanding settling in. I can accept that. You're amazing. Truly." A shiver ran through me. His approval, his recognition, his awe, it made me feel powerful, desired, yet vulnerable. I realized that being fully visible, fully feminine, meant being exposed to both admiration and judgment, and I was beginning to crave it. The emotional tension peaked as Jason reached across the table, brushing his fingers lightly against mine. My heart raced. Every nerve in my body thrummed with a mix of fear, shame, and thrill. I wanted to pull back, to hide, but a part of me, a dangerous, intoxicating part, wanted to surrender fully. Alina's sharp glance reminded me. Control was hers, and she was watching every reaction. "Feel it," she whispered softly. "She is alive. Let her respond." I looked at Jason, his eyes warm and questioning, and felt the lines between who I had been and who I had become blur completely. The boy was gone. The girl in the mirror, trembling and beautiful, was undeniable. Hours passed in tense conversation, laughter, and subtle flirtation. Jason's presence was both a bridge to the past and a temptation to test my new identity. Every compliment, every glance, every gentle touch reminded me of the power and vulnerability of being her. By the time the cafe emptied, I felt a mixture of exhaustion, exhilaration, and fear. Alone, in front of my reflection once more, I realized something profound. The transformation was complete. I was no longer a boy hiding in shadows. I was a girl, beautiful, desired, and fully alive. Yet the confrontation left a lingering question. How much of my past could I carry, and how much of her life was I willing to embrace? As we left the cafe, my phone buzzed again. Another message from an unknown number. "You think you're safe as her? Tonight, you'll learn who really controls your life." My pulse skyrocketed. Danger, desire, and suspense collided. The ultimate test of identity, control, and survival was about to begin. Everything I had become was about to be tested in ways I could never imagine. The night was thick with tension as Alina guided me to a secluded mansion on the outskirts of the city. Shadows stretched across the grand driveway, illuminated by flickering lanterns and the occasional passing car. My heels clicked nervously on the cobblestone as I followed her, each step a reminder of the fragile balance I now walked between fear and exhilaration. "Tonight," Alina whispered, her eyes gleaming in the moonlight, "she will be tested. Her power, her beauty, her submission. You'll see what it truly means to be her." I swallowed hard, nerves twisting in my stomach. The girl I had become had face parties, public attention, and even recognition from the past, but this was different. The unknown loomed, and I felt a shiver of both anticipation and dread. Inside the mansion, the atmosphere was charged. Guests mingled, chandeliers sparkled, and laughter echoed across marble floors. Yet beneath the surface, a tension pulsed, a game I had unknowingly been summoned to play. "Remember," Alina whispered again, "she is alive. Every look, every movement, command attention or lose control." I nodded, gripping her hand tightly. My reflection in a polished mirror showed her fully. The girl, the persona, the seductive, trembling figure I had become. She was mine now, yet controlled, guided, and watched. The first test came quickly. A circle of influential socialites surrounded me, their eyes sharp and evaluating. Compliments and whispers were exchanged, subtle tests of my femininity, confidence, and composure. I felt every gaze like a physical touch, every whisper like a weight pressing against my chest. A tall, handsome man stepped closer, his eyes locking on mine. "You're stunning," he murmured, voice low and deliberate. "Absolutely captivating." Heat rose to my cheeks. My pulse raced. I could feel the thrill of attention, but beneath it a gnawing fear. One misstep, one faltering smile, and everything could collapse. Alina's hand on my back steadied me. "Own it," she whispered. "She is alive. Let her respond." I smiled softly, letting my body language convey confidence. The man's gaze lingered, and I realized I was no longer afraid of being seen. I wanted it, craved it. The girl in the mirror was alive, and she demanded recognition. Then came the ultimate challenge, a private room at the mansion, where shadows deepened and the air thickened with anticipation. Alina guided me inside, shutting the door behind us. "You're ready," she said, her tone soft but firm. "Tonight, she will face herself and the truth about who controls her life." A figure stepped from the shadows. My heart stopped. It was Ethan. His eyes widened in disbelief, then softened with desire. I can't believe it's really you," he whispered, reaching toward me. The collision of emotions was immediate. Desire, fear, shame, and thrill surged inside me. I trembled, unsure whether to pull away or embrace him. Alina's gaze was unwavering. "Feel it," she instructed. "The girl is yours now. He is part of her world. Accept it or lose control." Hours passed in that room, a dance of emotions, subtle flirtation, and whispered confessions. Every touch, every glance, every word tested the boundaries between the boy I had been and the girl I had become. I realized fully, I was no longer hiding. I was exposed, vulnerable, beautiful, and entirely alive. The thrill of being admired, desired, and controlled mingled with fear and exhilaration. I wanted it all, yet I was terrified of losing myself completely. Alina's final words pierced the air. "She is real. You are hers, and the world will see her fully." As Ethan leaned closer, his lips almost brushing mine, my phone buzzed again. "The final choice is yours. Surrender or fight. But remember, once she is yours, there is no turning back." My pulse raced. Desire, danger, and identity collided in a storm inside me. The moment of ultimate truth had arrived. All the fear, desire, and excitement led to this one impossible decision. Alina's apartment was silent except for the faint hum of the city outside. I sat in front of the full-length mirror, the soft glow of lamplight catching every curve, every contour, every detail of the girl I had become. My heart raced, my hands trembled, and my mind spun with one impossible question. Who am I now? The night had brought every emotion to the surface: desire, humiliation, fear, exhilaration. Ethan's eyes still lingered in my memory, warm and full of admiration. Jason's recognition, the party, the public gaze, all of it had built this fragile, intoxicating identity. Alina's voice cut through my thoughts. She is real, beautiful,
Desired.
powerful. But tonight you choose. Will she live, or will you try to reclaim him? The decision felt unbearable. On one side was the boy I had been, shy, unnoticed, hidden, safe. On the other was the girl I had become, visible, admired, feminine, seductive, alive. Every part of me screamed for both, yet I knew I could not have both. I touched my face, tracing my cheeks, my lips, my soft jawline. The reflection stared back, flawless, teasing, challenging me. Every glance, every curve, every detail screamed, she is real. She is yours. Ethan appeared again, quietly, as if drawn to the apartment by an invisible thread. His eyes softened when he saw me. You've changed, he whispered. I've never seen anyone like you. You're incredible. My body shivered. Desire surged, fear collided, and the temptation to surrender fully to this new life became overwhelming. Alina's hand rested lightly on my shoulder, a subtle yet firm reminder of control. Feel it, she instructed. She is alive. Choose her or lose her forever. Tears welled in my eyes as I realized the truth. The boy I had been was fading, leaving only the girl, beautiful, feminine, desired. My pulse raced with a mix of fear and exhilaration, the thrill of being seen and admired almost addictive. I took a deep breath, feeling the curves of my body, the softness of my skin, the feminine sway in my posture. I realized, with trembling certainty, that I no longer wanted to return. I choose her, I whispered, my voice soft, melodic, feminine. Alina smiled, a mix of satisfaction and triumph.
Good. She is yours now. Fully.
There is no turning back. The moment of acceptance was intoxicating. Ethan stepped closer, admiration and desire in his eyes. I felt the thrill of attention, the warmth of desire, and the undeniable power of being the girl I had become. Every doubt, every fear melted away as I embraced this new identity fully. I was her now, beautiful, alive, and entirely visible. The boy I had been existed only in memory, a shadow of the past. And for the first time, I didn't mourn him. I celebrated her. As I looked into the mirror, fully transformed and fully accepting, my phone buzzed one final time. She is yours. But remember, power comes with consequences. A shiver ran down my spine. Desire, control, and danger would follow me now, but I knew one thing. I was ready to face it. She was alive, and I was hers. Everything had changed, yet for the first time, I felt completely alive. The sun rose slowly, spilling golden light across the city streets. I stood in front of my mirror, fully dressed, fully made up, fully transformed. The girl in the reflection wasn't just a disguise anymore. She was real, vibrant, and undeniably alive. Every curve, every feature, every subtle detail was hers now, and mine to inhabit. Alina's presence beside me was reassuring, her hand lightly brushing mine. Today, she said softly, you step into the world fully. She is alive, and she belongs out there. I swallowed hard, feeling a surge of anticipation and fear. The world outside was no longer a place to hide. Every glance, every whisper, every step would be a test, but I was ready. The first public test came quickly. As I walked down the busy city street, heels clicking rhythmically, I felt the eyes on me. Whispers floated on the wind. She's beautiful.
Who is that?
I smiled softly, letting my body sway naturally, my posture confident. The thrill of attention coursed through me, electrifying my nerves. I realized I no longer feared being seen. I craved it. Each glance, each stare, reinforced the power of my transformation. Ethan had insisted on meeting me later that day, and the anticipation of seeing him again made my heart race. But even without him, the attention I drew was intoxicating. I was alive in a way I had never experienced as a boy. At the cafe, Ethan waited, his eyes lighting up the moment he saw me. You're even more incredible now, he whispered, stepping closer. I blushed, a delightful warmth spreading through me. I've never felt like this before, I admitted softly. He reached for my hand, and I allowed him, feeling the thrill of touch, of desire, of connection. My pulse raced. I realized that this life, this identity, this girl, was not just something I wore, it was who I had become. Alina observed from a nearby table, a proud smile on her face. She is unstoppable now, she murmured, and the world will follow her. The days that followed were a whirlwind of attention, admiration, and new experiences. I learned to navigate the subtle power of being feminine, the intoxicating allure of desire, and the thrill of being admired. Every glance, every compliment, Every whispered admiration became a part of me. I saw friends from my past, recognition flashing in their eyes, and felt a mix of fear and exhilaration. But I no longer ran. I faced them, smiled, and embraced the girl I had become. One evening, as I practiced walking in the park in full attire, Ethan appeared once more, his expression soft and admiring. "You're perfect," he said simply. I smiled, feeling the truth of it resonate in my chest. "I am her," I whispered. "And I'm finally ready to live as her." Alina's words echoed in my mind. She is alive.
She belongs out there.
The final transformation wasn't just physical, it was emotional, psychological, and complete. I had shed the boy I once was, embraced the girl I had become, and stepped fully into a life of beauty, desire, and empowerment. As I walked away, heels clicking on the pavement, a new message appeared on my phone. The world has noticed her, and she will never be the same again. I smiled, heart racing, and whispered to myself, "I am her, and I am ready." The city stretched before me, full of attention, desire, and possibilities. The transformation was complete. I was alive. I was beautiful. And nothing, no past, no fear, no hesitation, could stop her now.